Hi, everybody. Maria's giving me things. How are you? Hope you can see me. Can you see me? Are we here? Are we here? Yay! Okay, good. I'm real. And I am so excited. I am so excited because we are making medicine. And we made medicine, of course, on Saturday for Maybon, and I'm so happy that you were there. A lot of you were there. Are you happy to see us too? Oh, and it's Ariella's first time. She's excited. Cue siren for Ariella. Anybody else here for the first time? As I send love that way. It was super special, wasn't it? So Colin's doing it tonight. So fantastic. Wow. I really enjoyed Saturday, and I enjoyed yesterday too. Like I kind of was doing, sometimes I do my own ceremonies too. And so I wanted to start by sharing a little bit more about my experience with the crystal skull. I talked a tiny bit about it in person with those of you who were here, but I didn't talk about it live. And so some of you know the story of what happened to me, and I got permission to share this, by the way, from Sherry. So I went last week to marry one of your sisters, her son, to his beloved. I hand fasted them, and so I flew to Indiana to do that. And as a thank you, because I only marry people I love, so I don't charge for that. As a thank you, she arranged for me to sit with the Mitchell Hedges skull. Do you guys know what the Mitchell Hedges skull is? It's so I don't. That's a rabbit hole that you can go down on your own time. The reason I'm mentioning it here, I'm not going to really talk much about it publicly. I don't think I need to. I don't feel like it's a story that I really have to share. I was super grateful that Sherry posted the pictures today. So if you want to see the Mitchell Hedges skull, it's on my timeline and it's on Sherry Dimovich's timeline. So I got to spend, I guess it was close to 2 hours face to face with the Mitchell Hedges, and that's a rare experience because it's protected. The keeper of that skull has to protect it because the Belize government believes it's their property, and so it's actually something. And my thing is, he wouldn't have to protect it and keep it and not travel with it and all these things if there wasn't something to it. You know what I mean? Like, people want it and they want to take it away because there's something really incredibly special about it. So anyway, I got to spend that time with him. What a gift, right? Like, honestly, Sherry Dimovich, I always say Dimovich, but it's Dimovich. Sherry came up with the one gift you give someone when they probably have all the crystals. Like, they don't have 2 hours with the Mitchell Hedges. Later, go down that rabbit hole. Why am I telling you this? I'm different. There was an activation that happened with that skull, and that's the only way I can describe it to you. And the reason I'm telling you that is every time I have some activation or some experience, like, it shows up in what we do because we're intimately connected, right? And so I just want to share with you that it shifted my experience of Maybon a lot. You may feel different. I think there's some codes that got activated, and if that's true, you may want to notice if you feel different this week. And I can only describe to you what it feels like to me, which is, and the timing of it was divine. I mean, for me to sit with that skull on Equinox weekend, like, come on now, right? For me, it was a releasing, like a really, really, really deep releasing of fear. Not that I have a lot. I'm not a fearful person, but like I'm really trying to think about how to describe it. Do you feel it? It's like maybe caring less about things that I was caring too much about that I shouldn't, or like I guess it's a prioritization, and then an allowing for those things to go. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's interesting. There is a lightness. Like, I feel really peaceful, I guess. I'm a pretty peaceful person, but yeah, there's some times where I have a habit, as we all do as human beings, of like holding on to things maybe when I shouldn't. And so I'm really loving whatever it is, and I just want to share that it's happening because my hope is to transmit some of that to you if you need it. You know, some of you don't need it. You're probably like, I'm as chill as I can possibly get, and I don't hold on to stuff, and I release with ease. And like, if that's you, then you don't need it, and maybe like pass the gift on to somebody else, right? Yeah, it's it feels like peace to me, but it might feel calm. It might feel there's lots of different things it could feel like, right? So anyway, I'll just transmit some of that to you. Right? A trusting of the universe. I like it. Yeah, there's a little bit of like, what would it, and this is all, by the way, relevant, because we're about to charge water together. And water is the most easily imprinted substance on the planet. It's the origin of life, right? Like, I can't overestimate for you the importance of today's ceremony, really. I love that, Denise. Yeah, it's like, and here's the thing, like this energy stream, whatever this is, let's call it the, maybe help me come up with a word. You know what, let's call it grace. Denise. Can we call it grace? So I feel graceful after working with that skull. Because grace is the ability to release and surrender without the desire to hold on to or to control or to, you know what I mean? Let's call it grace. So I feel like I entered a new energy stream of grace that I hadn't encountered before. So enjoy. And I'll do my best to consciously transmit that, to flow through. That's right, Ariel, it's beautiful. Really, Candace? She said, by the grace of God is tattooed on my arm. Of course it is. Because you're super magical, and like, of course it is. Okay, good. So if you're receiving it, I'm sorry that like I'm still congested after 2 weeks. I don't even know what's going on, and I don't like to take cold medicine too much, so I'm just going to let it flow today. Maybe it's time to let it go with the flow, even out of my nose. And I wore this tank top today because it's an invitation to my party. And at my party, we let shit go, right? Okay, wow. I know. Colin, I hope you feel better. All of us not feeling good at the equinox, right? It's time to purge. Okay, so let me teach you a little bit, as I always do. I've got things I want to tell you, and then we'll do ceremony, and I will try not to have this go on for 6 hours. But I really do want to sit, today and really do this work with you. So JB knows. So yeah, there's 10 other stories that go along with that that I don't have time to tell you today. But seriously, there's 10 other stories related to the skull that like just overwhelmingly symbolic. Unbelievable, actually. Okay. So when we turn, and keep in mind, this is Northern Hemisphere medicine right now, because, down in the Southern Hemisphere, they're not working with water medicine. They're not entering the season of fall or autumn. They're on the other side of the wheel. So this is really, not that Southern Hem brothers and sisters can't do this, and I think you should. Like, you're just charging it with a different energy, and I want you to be mindful of that, because the seasonal alignment is present for us here in the Northern Hemisphere right now, but it's, it's flip-flopped, right? I love that you guys would actually spend 6 hours with me. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. There aren't a lot of people on the planet that I would want to sit and listen to for 6 hours. So the fact that you would, like, I'm just going to say that's a really nice compliment, and I receive it. Well, honestly, I'm really honored. I would have shit to tell you, too. I mean, I could go, I'm not going to, again, like, I'm just saying. You guys made my day. It's really sweet. I mean, like, seriously, if someone tells you they would spend 6 hours with you, and they're an adult, and they're not, being paid to do that, it's of their own, like, free will, like, that's kind of a special thing. I'm grateful for that. Would you like a bonus class for me to talk about all the stories of the skull? Some of it's like my own personal stories. Does that matter? Like, I don't know. It would be like a half an hour. Maybe we can do that. Maybe, okay. Maybe we stay. So maybe anybody who wants to hear the rest of it. Okay. Why don't we do this? Wednesday night at the end of class, can we just take an extra half an hour? If you want. So that way, if you don't want to, you can sign off. You've had class. You're happy, right? So that's a normal day. And then anybody who wants to stay, from what would be 6 to 6:30 my time. So that would be 9 to 9:30 Eastern time. Maybe that's convenient too. Is that all right? Okay, so we'll just plan to do that. And then I can tell you all the stories, and I'm not, digressing from the very important work that we have to do right now. Okay, cool. Party on. We will do that. Okay, so in the Northern Hemisphere, when we turn the Great Wheel of Time from summer to fall, perfect. We turn from summer to fall. We turn from the wheel from south to west. And so that's the turn that we've made. And you have to really think about that elementally, right? So in the south, it is fire, it's burning, it's the burning to create, it's the burning to manifest, it's the it's the burning to know and to learn, and it's very much a growth season energy, right? It's solar energy, it's sun, really center sky, and for the longest, part of the day. And so it's very, very powerful, solar energy in the south and fire energy, but it's seasonal. When we turn to fall, and that's all the harvest energy, that's not the growth anymore. It's sort of it's a surrendering. It's a water element energy. And you think about, I live here on the west coast of the United States, and I did a live video yesterday to show on my personal Facebook page, just to show where I live and how beautiful the Pacific Ocean is. And I talked about how the Pacific is really a healer. She's westward. And if you also think about, this is why you love fall. This is why empaths love fall, because we need it. You know what I mean? It's like not having showered the whole year, or not having taken a salt bath the whole year. And so it's great. You've been accumulating and growing and expanding and creating, and that's awesome. But now you're dirty AF, and you've been carrying all these emotions around, and now you need to slough it off emotionally, physically. This is the grand entrance into the river or the stream after having walked 1,000 miles in the hot sun. You know what I mean? That's what fall is to me. It's like, and now I get to get in the ocean, I get to get in the stream, I get to get in the river and release everything. It's like all of the dirt and the baggage and the struggle. It's like it all, you can float now. You can really lean back into the water, right? So that's what the energy is, and that's why I was saying the timing of my work with the skull and activating this grace energy stream and stuff within me that I feel, and I can even see it a little bit. It's a weird thing. The timing of that is really, really good, because if you are going to surrender and release and let go, this is the time, right? Okay. The West, think about it this way too. Each one of the directions aligns to a time of day. So East is dawn, South is high noon, West is sunset, and North is evening, right? Dusk into evening. And so I want you to think about that too, because what you can ask yourself if you want a journaling question. I know we've been journaling a lot, so if you're all journaled out, you won't hurt my feelings. But if you want a question to kind of dig into and sink your teeth into for this work, it would be, what did I write down? What are you sunsetting right now in your life? What are you saying goodbye to? What are you allowing to sink beneath the horizon in your life? What is no longer center stage? And if you don't know what that is, or if you struggle to answer that question, what I used to do when I was a college professor is I would ask a question, a big, juicy, complex question, and if people didn't understand it, then I would ask it a different way. There's always a different way to ask a question. So if you struggle with that, don't struggle with it. Ask a different question. And the other question could be, what are you tired of? What are you exhausted of? These 1,000 miles that you've walked from January 1st to today, to the 23rd of September, like what's hanging on your back? Like what's in your backpack that honestly doesn't need to be there anymore, and you've hiked with it for 1,000 miles and now you're like kind of ready to let that go? That's a good question, I think. Right, Ariella, as the sun is setting where you are, right? East is dawn. That is your name, Dawn. And wow, beautiful it is. Like, you represent the new beginning. In fact, you embody a new beginning in your life and other people's lives too. So giving your power away, done doing that for Candace. Heidi's done mourning. Colin's done overworking. Lord have mercy. April's done with grief and self-doubt, right? Heidi's done with her divorce. It'll be a year on the 10th. So, and there's really big medicine in this concept of year and a day. It's a similar concept of the 13 moons. It's like giving something a period of time, but then really defining and delineating what that will be, so that you don't overextend the grief. You don't overextend. It's I think about in Greece when someone loses someone, like they can grieve for 30 years, they can grieve for 40 years. But the sort of like hard grief period is 40 days. And they define it, and they have ceremony at the end to acknowledge it, So, right, Cecilia's letting go of pain and sadness, being scared of success for Ariella, self-sabotage for Paulette, and procrastination, limiting herself for Cindy, right? Crystal's done procrastinating, Tanya's done with self-doubt, Lindsay's done living with vengeance, Michelle's not going to carry other people's shit anymore, Emily's ready to let go of self-doubt, Breezy's letting go of control, right? So you can see that everybody's got something. So if you have something, it doesn't mean that you've got more problems than everybody else. Maybe it means you're ahead of everybody else. Because here's what you don't want to do. And this is why I teach the Wheel of the Year, and why I think it's so important. If you don't do the work of each season, you can't manifest anything. If you don't birth that new thing in late winter, early spring, you can't birth it now. Like, it's not going to have the same energy behind it. It's not to say you can't create anything, but I'm just saying you're not going to get the big burst of energy starting something now that you would have in January. I mean, it's sort of a fact, and nature reflects that, right? If you don't finish that conception and birthing process in March, April, May, and into June, then you're not harnessing the energy of that season. If you don't kick your own ass to get shit done in June, July, August, it's not to say you can't kick your ass later, you know what I mean? But you don't have the universe's support. You don't have that seasonal support behind you. And then if you don't honor your harvest and complete your harvest, get that dead stuff off the trees. If you don't do that between now and the end of November, then you're going to carry some old shit and some old baggage into 2020. And then when you don't manifest, you're going to go, wonder why I didn't manifest. And it's like this, like, people miss these parts of the work. And the reality is, it is work. It means being attuned to the cycles. I mean, you guys have me constantly like, knock, 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 knock. Hey, are you doing the work of the season? Hey, are you doing the work of the season? Some people don't. And they don't look at nature as a teacher or as a mirror of where we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be doing. So if you don't want to carry your BS around into 2020, then you have 2 months, which is why I'm doing the shadow series. Like, you have to acknowledge what it is, first of all. Got to figure out what your stuff is. You don't know what you don't know, right? I'm glad it resonates with you, Gina, and it's really true. Like, and I even need a reminder. I need a reminder. If I wasn't teaching and constantly immersed and like focused, that's why I wrote Book of Blessings, because I'm like, there are, now thousands of people out there who are gonna open that book and go, okay, so what's this month about, right? And maybe for the first time learn that this is when the fruit comes off the trees. And the big part of fall, and what we're working with today with water medicine, is not all your fruit made it. Not all your fruit survived. Some of your fruit died right on the vine. Some of it, the seeds just never kind of did anything. Some of it you harvested too early and it wasn't ready. Some of it is you're leaving it on there and you're hoping it's still going to grow and it's not. And these are all metaphors for like different things that we do that aren't in alignment with the energy of the season. Does that make sense? That's right. Well, so if you don't know Suzanne, that's even better in a way. Just because if you let your spirit guides help you, and if you give them permission to do some of this work on your behalf, then you don't have to have all the answers, and it sort of takes the pressure off of you, right? It's like sometimes we don't know what we need to know, or we can't see what we need to see, right? Some fed the birds. That's right, Angela. Some, I was teaching artichoke medicine all year on Instagram. I don't know if you follow me there, but I try to do different things on Instagram than I do here and that I do anywhere else, so that it's like you have a reason to be there. And I tracked my artichoke's growth the whole year. And then one of them I left on the vine, because if you harvest your artichoke, then you'll never get a flower. You have to let the fruit die, and after, in the process of dying, it emerges this purple flower about that big. And so I talked about that. I taught artichoke medicine on Instagram this year. And actually, you know what? The feedback was better about that lesson than almost anything I've taught this whole year. And it really goes to show that nature is a teacher. Like, if you can harness the energy of what she's doing, it's a really powerful lesson. Really? Did I, Ashley? Wow, that really means a lot to me, because I will tell you, part of my sanity is growing things. And I come from farmers, and so it's obviously in my blood, but even if I didn't come from farmers, I think it, anyway. Isn't it beautiful? So, okay, direction of the setting sun, what are you exhausted by? If you are exhausted of something, and especially if what you're exhausted of is yourself, are you tired of you? Try letting go of a behavior or a pattern that you know you're stuck in. I'm doing it right now. I've got a little shitty pattern that I've been in around something in my life that I can't reconcile because I don't want to. Okay? And I'm in this shitty little pattern around it. And I know I'm in a shitty pattern. I mean, I'm not hurting anybody, but I'm hurting myself, because I know if I shifted my thinking on it, I would feel better. But shifting my thinking about it means accepting something that I don't want to accept. Does that make sense? And I don't want to. And this is the thing where Dave's like, dude, you know what I mean? Like, for real? Like, okay, teach a shadow class, but you see your own shit right now. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I'm like, I do. But seeing it and owning it's half the battle, right? Doing something about it is graduation. Okay, so I see my shitty little pattern. And guess what I'm going to work on with this medicine today? I want to flow out of my shitty little spiral that I'm in. Seriously, Lynette, I'm doing the same thing. I don't want to, and I shouldn't have to. And you can't make me. Except I'm saying all of that to myself, which is really screwed up, right? It's one thing when it's a 2-year-old saying it to its mom. It's another thing when it's a 46-year-old woman saying it to herself. You can't make me, right? Okay. Except I can. I can gently encourage myself to do what I absolutely know I have to do. Oh, self-coaching. 'Tis a joy, I tell you. I'm just being honest. Like, you know what? There's still places in my life where I'm like, nope. Nope. And then I have to go, yep. And that just sucks. But it's also great, because it means I'm learning and getting better. Okay, so smudging. I have other stuff to teach you, but let's get some. in there. I don't want the ash in there, but I want the smoke in there. There we go. Okay, so clearing the bottle, just getting ready for the work that we're about to do. Well, you know what? It's very possible to reprogram your brain, but you have to, like, the first step is acknowledging that you have an issue, which can sometimes take like 6 months. And then you're like, okay, so I admit I have an issue, but now I don't want to fix it. Okay, now I want to fix it. Baby steps to personal development. Okay. So we are making water sacrament today. And water sacrament is very much like the Mabon sacrament that we made. It is an amalgam of herbs and oils and crystals, and in our case, water. Because we're working with water, I want to tell you that the shelf life of this particular medicine is shorter, okay? If you want to lengthen the shelf life, you can. I don't want you consuming this, right? This is not like something to drink, so I just want to make sure you know that too. I mean, I'm sure you do, and yet doing my diligence means telling you don't drink this. But if you want to expand the shelf life of this, I would add either witch hazel or alcohol of some kind, which will, to some extent act as a preservative to help you lengthen the lifespan of this. Your anhydro water is very, very, very precious. I would not use more than a drop in this sacrament because I'm working really hard to export anhydro water out of South America, but it's tricky. Okay? And which is why nobody's done it. So I'm working hard on it. I'm trying to get more of it toward the holidays, but it's a process. So if you're like me, you're going to want to use this in some different things, right? Yeah, just a tablespoon of vodka or a little, witch hazel or something, just to give it enough to. So I don't know, Colin. I mean, you could use distilled water, which would sort of help, right? Which would be one way of handling that. I would say a couple of months, maybe a month. Keep an eye on it. That's what I would say. The oils will act as something of a preservative too. Vodka's fine. You have probably, I think, everybody should have the same amount of anhydro water. So this is about 10 drops, I think, of anhydro. Not big drops, which is why I'm using my pipette to extract a single drop. So you'll want to be careful, and you just want to use a tiny, tiny amount of it. Yes, Candace, there are oils that align to the west. And in fact, one good thing for you to do might be, if it's still on the website, because a lot of our perfumes are out of stock right now because the BOGO sale, everybody buys all the perfume, but we have a West perfume, and I think the notes might be listed out for you. We have some water-based perfumes that would give you more guidance, but everything that's in this kit, Candace, these are the primary Western oils, which are lily of the valley, eucalyptus, and jasmine. Ylang ylang is very much Western medicine too. And then there are others. A lot of the Western essential oils are hard to find, sadly. Like Lily of the Valley, we had distilled for us. So this is real Lily of the Valley Absolute. It's almost impossible to find. So it just depends on finding them, figuring out which ones they are, and then finding them. Pomegranate is Western as a carrier oil. Trying to think of what else would be. Sweet almond's Northern for me. Jojoba's Southern for me. I'm trying to think of carrier oils that might be aligned specifically to the West. I would say pomegranate, because not hemp. It's not. Hopefully that's helpful. It gives you at least an idea for one thing. Yeah, use alcohol. So here's the thing. You guys can sex this up in a bunch of different ways. Into my sacrament today, I have water from the Chalice Well at Glastonbury. This is water from the Casa of John of God. And then I have the anhydro water that we're working with. If you have special water that's been blessed, if you have holy water that's been blessed, if you have rose water and you want to add that, if you have, any oils that have significance to you, something that was made for you or gifted to you, You could add a drop of each of the blends that you've made in your mesa, with your mesa tools over the course of the year so far. Like, I want you to, and please use rose water. So incredibly sacred and beautiful. Rose water is Western medicine. That is Mary medicine. That is medicine of the mother. Spikenard would be another really powerful essential oil to include. It's Mary energy. Agua de Florida would be fantastic, Jerica, if you have Agua de Florida. If you have, what else would be good? I'm trying to think, just to be creative, you know what I mean? There's so many options. So kind of look around your magic cabinet. The good thing is you can continue to add all the way through the season. You can use it and add to it and let it grow and move with you and, continue to get inspired. You have all the way until we turn the wheel again, which isn't happening until December. So you have plenty of time. Yeah, use your Rose Witch Hazel toner, South Texas tap water. Get it, girl. M3 would be great in there, your own charged water. All of the perfumes, Elohim and Grail, can you imagine? Like, if you have those things, add them in. This is going to become really unique magic to you, because just like no one else can make the bottle that I'm about to make, very few people have anhydro water plus John of God water plus Chalice Well water from Glastonbury. So it's very special. I'm only going to share this with very important people. I'm only going to anoint the ground in very special ceremony. I'm only going to wear this perfume when I really, really need it. So, be sparing and be judicious, because even though it looks like a lot, and you can make the whole bottle, and I'm going to, because I know I'm going to use it. I'm constantly interacting with and working with people, and so this will be very helpful. And I'm glad that you're excited about it. So we are going to imprint this water once we make it with mantra and with sound. We can recite the mantra as we create it too. And then the mudra that we're working with today, just so you know, is called the Varuna mudra. Varuna is the Hindu god of water. Varuna actually comes from the Sanskrit root VR, which means to surround. And so it is the idea that blessings surround you, much like water. And it just reminds me of this energy of grace that we're working with right now, like feeling surrounded by grace, feeling fully connected to the world around us, letting go of anything that is holding you back, just like water would come and wash through and wash through and wash through. Like I feel like we have access to that kind of energy stream right now, where if something's bothering you or if it's challenging you, like let it, almost imagine the water's coming through and carrying it off with you. Yeah, it's true. And a lot of you need grace right now, and so the timing is, as always, divine. Okay, I think you know about Dr. Emoto. I just want to make sure, because sometimes people haven't heard of the Emoto experiments, where he experimented with intention, right? And energy and water, and observed that the molecular structure of water changed when the intention shared with it was positive, or the words shared with it was positive, and the opposite was also true. I would love for you to experiment. And I know Colin's going to say yes. Have you not heard of it? So yeah, look up EMOTO, Dr. Emoto. Did these studies, and people have done like kind of follow-up experiments where they've had 2 tomatoes, and they told the one tomato all week how beautiful it is and how lovely it is and how grateful they are for it, and they told the other tomato the opposite, right? Like not good things. And the one tomato stayed fresh and the other tomato did not, right? So if you're down for an experiment, and I'm going to do it with you, I'm going to see if I can keep this water alive without adding alcohol, through my intention and my attention. And by continually, I forgot my tuning fork. Hold on, I'll be right back. By charging it every day with the 528 tuning fork, which if you have your Maybon tools or got that, you have. Hold on, let me grab my tuning fork really quick. Or any tuning fork that you have. This one I like because this is the frequency that clears water. 528 is the specific Solfeggio frequency that has been used to clear even water in the Gulf of Mexico. Well, you'll know it's alive if it doesn't go bad. I mean, what does water smell like when it's starting to go rancid, right? Or you'll start seeing like stuff growing in it, right? So if you want to do the experiment with me, you can, and I'm going to maybe document mine a little bit so we can see how it goes. And then, and yeah, you know what? Sit your water next to YouTube and turn that little speaker up and let it enjoy, right? So anyway, that's one experiment for you. These are sold out, by the way. So, and we even restocked just a few more because we placed a second order because people missed it, and those are gone too. But you can find tuning forks if you want to get one. Ours are just special because they say Sage Goddess on it, which I think is kind of a cool thing. Okay, so I wanted to tell you about that. Water holds the memory of the planet. So this water, just so you know, do you guys know, I want to make sure you know what water you're working with. This is anhydro water. This is actually, you've heard of anhydro quartz where you can see the water bubble inside. This is anhydro water from a quartz cluster about the size of my classroom. The person that that offered this to me, I had to pay for it, but the person who offered this to me broke open an anhydro bubble and decanted the water. And so the water inside this vial is millions of years old. Yeah. So, the quartz cluster was about, my classroom is about 2,000 square feet. The quartz cluster was about 2,000 to 2,500 square feet. They broke it open. And then I had to purchase a massive, I did a simple filtration on it just to make sure if there were any impurities that were not safe, that those would be filtered out. But that left everything else in it. So it's, to my knowledge, this is the only time that anyone on the planet has ever had extracted anhydro water for use. Isn't that cool? I know, and I'm trying, he's willing to break open another one for me, but he may not be able to do it and get it to me before the holidays, which is what I'm working on for something, but we'll see. Okay, so that's this. That's why I'm saying use this sparingly. It is the oldest water on the planet. And you want to talk about healing? This water has seen every major civilization on this planet come and go. Think about that for a minute. Let that land. This water saw Sumeria rise and fall. This water may well have experienced the rise and fall of Atlantis and Lemuria, right? I mean, yeah. So anyway, imagine what it cost me to get this for you, which is why you have 3 or 5 drops. This was one of the most expensive things I've ever put into a kit. And we did it because we wanted you to have something really, really special. So if you're looking at it and going, why'd she only give me that? Think about what it is. Okay? And we didn't have a lot of them, so some of you don't have it, and I apologize, but like I said, we're going to try to get more for you when we can. Isn't that cool? Yeah, and I didn't want to dilute it. There's nothing in there but anhydro water. Like, I could have filled it up with other water to make it go farther, but I don't roll like that. So water holds the memory of our planet. Some of the processes that we're going to go through today, like working with the mudra before you begin, like charging with the sound frequency, the mantra that we're going to recite, you can do that with anything. You could, make moon water and do the same process every month if you want to. It's a nice thing to do at the new moon if you want. Well, you might be surprised. See what you can do with what you have. Okay, so the mantra that we're going to recite tonight, I just want to show it to you. I'm going to write it. I'm going to type it for you in the feed really quick. Om Varuna Namah, which is, of course, Om is the sound of the name of God. Varuna is the water god, and then Namah is a greeting. Okay, so Om Varuna Namah is the mantra for tonight. So you ready to play? I'm ready to play. I am going to open a circle because this is ceremony. I'm so excited for you guys. For a lot of you, this is new, and even if it's not new for you, what a beautiful way to greet the season. Maybe it's not new for you, but maybe you haven't done it before at this time. So that's kind of a cool thing. So I'm going to briefly just call in the guardians of the 7 directions to be with us. Guardians of the East, asking you to come forward to help us open the circle today, welcoming new beginnings. Guardians of the South, welcoming in energies of curiosity and fire, courage, stamina, play, and curiosity. Guardians of the West, greeting you. So thankful for your presence here and for your guidance as we create water medicine today. Guardians of the North welcoming you for stability, patience, grace, strength. And then Guardians of the vertical column, the upper worlds, the middle world, the lower realms, calling you in, asking you to be with us, help us hold the space today to create beautiful medicine. It can be used throughout the season for healing, for transformation, purification. Amen, aho, and so it is. Beautiful. I have my, I couldn't find my tinctures from ceremony last year, but I have tinctures here, so I'm going to just strike the tincture 3 times. So we have our herbs in our pouch. I want to walk you through those really quickly. In your pouch, you have jasmine, rose, lobelia, and mugwort. Jasmine is for beauty and creativity. Each one opens a different energy stream, right? Rose opens the heart, helps you to embrace deeper levels of connections. Lobelia is to relax your mind. Lobelia is grace, and it's in here. So it's like, I always think of grace when I think of lobelia. And then mugwort is for divination, prophecy, psychic development. So those are the 4 herbs that are in your pouch. Then you have ocean jasper chipstones, for happiness. Ocean jasper, of course, mined at the ocean in Madagascar, so that's hence its name. And then aquamarine chipstones, which is like the water stone par excellence. And then your 3 oils. You have jasmine essential oil, or jasmine absolute, I should say, which is for, again, expansion. It's passion. It's an aphrodisiac. It's complete water medicine. You have lily of the valley. Did you get ylang ylang too? No, I don't think so. Lily of the valley is a heart opener. And lily of the valley is really, really, really powerful when you're in a position like I am, where you have to open your heart in a way that's not easy for you. Does that make sense? That's when it's the most powerful medicine of all. So good. And then eucalyptus I love because it brings serenity. It connects you both to water and to spirit. And it's a physical healer of the heart. So it opens all those energetic pathways. It really, eucalyptus, at least for me, does this line from my crown chakra through my third eye, my throat, right into my heart. It's like the heart of God for me. I work with eucalyptus every single day because I love it so much. Truly. I think it will keep you healthy. Let's put it that way. So, and I'm going to try to think about any other stones I want to add in. You can add anything you want, truly. You can add your honey into this if you want to. Just seeing if there's anything else on my altar that seems to feel like it wants to go. I'm going to take one of the, no, that doesn't feel right. You know what, if there's anything I don't have, I'll add it later. How about that? That makes a lot of sense to me. Okay. So what you want to do, and you can begin anywhere, but I want you to really think about your intention. What are you going to be doing with this sacrament? Is it for physical healing primarily? Is it for mental healing primarily? Is it for emotional healing primarily? Who's going to be working with it? Are you going to share it with people, or are you going to keep it for yourself? Are you going to be offering it back to Pachamama? Are you going to be anointing with it every day? Seashells would be fantastic, Ashley, by the way. Right? And you can add flowers to it. You know, Jen's doing that. Rose and jasmine from her garden. So I love that. So I want you to isolate your intention, and then I want you to use your breath to infuse the bottle, the empty bottle, with that intention. I like to blow the whole breath. Okay. So I want to begin with our herbs, and I'm going to use most of my packet, actually. And you're welcome to add fresh flowers if you would like to. I probably will, because I still have a few orange blossoms in my garden that would be really good for this. So, okay. So I want you to add your herbs into your bottle. I want to give thanks to the mother plants for these beautiful offerings. Just sliding them down into the bottom. Feeling the energies too of each one, right? Grace and beauty and compassion and passion and immortality, and they're beautiful too. I mean, they look beautiful in addition to having all of those incredible properties. Okay, and then after each element, I would like to recite our mantra. So into the bottle, it's Om Varuna Namah. Om Varuna Namah. Because even these herbs are water element herbs, so saying a water mantra over them makes a lot of sense. Okay, and you can even draw this out ceremonially if you want. Like each time you add an element, you can use your tingsha. Feels good, doesn't it? And then you can strike your tuning fork and send the frequency down into the bottle each time, which is perfect too. Or you can just do it all at the end. This is where your intuition comes into play. And yes, Om, which is the sound of the name of God, O-M, Varuna, who's the god of water, Varuna, and then Nama, N-A-M-A-H, which is a greeting or a salutation or a praise of. So it's a praise and recognition of the god of water and asking for that blessing, which is used often for water purification, which is why I'm saying I think through these tools we might be able to extend the life path. Thanks to you guys for helping. Ariella, by the way, it was very sweet. I love it when you jump in for each other. Okay, next I'm going to add the oils. And so adding eucalyptus and asking for its blessings of physical healing and purification. Giving thanks to that beautiful eucalyptus plant. You often, don't think about, most people don't, about the sacrifice that their essential oils require. You know what I mean? Like how many thousands of pounds of petals of jasmine it takes to make an ounce of absolute, right? And it's like, gotta give thanks for that. And now for Lily of the Valley, to open our hearts and keep our hearts open. Aho to that. Oh, it's smelling good already. Because that eucalyptus and Lily of the Valley, like, take your empty bottles and just smell that together for a second. It's surprising. You may not think you'd like it, but it's quite beautiful, actually. That would make a stunning perfume. Maybe I need to make that. Woo. Did you like that? It's really pretty, isn't it? And then... Now you're fine, Martha. Just jump in now and you can go back and watch it later. Just come hang out. You got here when you're supposed to get here, which was good. Okay, and now the jasmine, and with the jasmine in it too. Thanking jasmine for beauty and for passion and immortality, which is what it represents. And smell that. Because, wow, that's real good. I'm seriously going to blend those three into a perfume, at least for myself. You already have it, so you can make it, but oh my God, that's insane. And now you can kind of mix that around a little bit in the bottom. Let those, those three oils and all those four herbs start to dance together a little bit. Okay, and now we add these ceremonial waters. Actually, no, I'm going to add the chipstones next. So, I'm going to add all of my chipstones. You don't have to. You could add a single chipstone. You could add no chipstones. You could add a single quartz point infused with your intention. So it's all about what you want to do. But I know I'm going to be using this a lot, and I want to be able to make sure that every time I share it with someone, they get a little of that aquamarine energy. And so if there's a lot of little pieces in there, it's going to go a lot farther. Also helps you mix. The chipstones sort of act as agitators. So giving thanks for aquamarine's energy of emotional purification and insight. And now adding ocean jasper. And giving thanks for its properties of happiness and joy and lightheartedness and grace. Ocean jasper is definitely a stone of grace. And as we're infusing it with these, I think I was meant to meet the skull last week so that I could give you this energy stream today and we could infuse it into our bottles. I 3,000% believe that's true. Why else would I get gifted grace, 4 days before this happens? I believe in magic. And again, you can play the tingsha just to honor the addition of that element. And you can strike your tuning fork and then add the frequency at each step or just at the end, right? Okay. And now these ceremonial waters. So I'm going to start with the anhydro water. And I am, like I said, I am so immensely grateful. I never thought I would have anhydro water, let alone be able to offer it to the people who mean the most in my life. So that was kind of a moment. Be careful with it. I don't know if I can get my pipette in here actually. Ooh, I can. Right on. So I'm reaching down with the intention of getting one sexy little drop out of here. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, I did it. Like I said, your vial contains about 10 drops. And I want to make sure it gets in there. It doesn't want to go off of the pipette. There I go. I'm gonna put one more drop in just to be sure it's there. Oops. There comes a drop coming down the side. Sending love to that. Oop, I got a drop on my finger. Get in there. You know it's precious when I'm being this careful with it. I may just put one more. I'm trying to see if I can not take too much. One more. There we go. Okay. Now I know it's in there. I think there's probably 3 drops in there. Okay. Lid goes back on. And if you got some on your skin, you just put millions of years of wisdom onto your body. And my hands smell really good. Okay. Next, like I said, this is my personal supply of water from the Casa of John of God. And I'm sure I will not have more of this anytime soon, so I'm added 3 drops of the Casa water. And then I have water from the Chalice Well at Glastonbury. That was a beautiful gift from one of you. I don't like to call people out, but just know I love you and I'm grateful for the gift. So I'm going to add 3 drops of that magic in there. And then, so those are all my magic waters. The last step, oh, it smells so good. I'm going to kind of roll it around for a minute and mix everything together. Isn't it pretty? It's like very pretty too. The last step is to add water. So And I'm going to do it my way, you do it your way. I'm going to recite the mantra the whole time. I add and I'm going to try to make the mudra while I hold the bottle. Up to you, okay? Looks like that. This is the water mudra. Thumb and pinky together, and then the 3 fingers, okay? And then as you add the water, recite the mantra. Om Varuna Nama. 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 Om Om Varuna Nama. 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 And I'm going to add more water to my little vase. I don't like to pour into something sacred out of a plastic bottle. So I'm transferring bottled water to a glass container. Let me put the camera down so you can see. And because I had charged this water with my tuning fork before I did this, now I need to charge it again. So here we go. So I'm charging the original water from the water bottle, right? Moon water is great. And then back, make the mudra. Om Varuna Nama. Om Varuna Nama. Oops, dripping water all over my table. Om Varuna Nama. Om Varuna Nama. Om Varuna Nama. Om Varuna Nama. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay. And that is how it looks. And then I am going to strike the tuning fork once more and place it into the entire bottle. And let everything receive that 528 frequency. Isn't that beautiful? There is some big magic in that bottle. This bottle, everything in this bottle came from Avalon, from Glastonbury, England, from the Casa of John of God in Brazil, from a massive 2,000 square foot quartz cluster in South America. Okay, so now the breath. Bringing your breath and your attention and your intention back to your intention for this bottle, right? Doesn't it, Colin? So my intention is to open my heart, even in places, especially in places where it's hard for me right now. My intention is to live and to move and to teach and to walk from this place of grace and beauty. My intention is to experience deep release and emotional healing in the season ahead and to facilitate that healing for others. Amen, aho. And so it is. Again, it looks like a lot, but you start using that. When you guys come, by the way, soul shifters, to the classroom, while I've still got this, please ask. Please ask, and so I can share some with you. Don't take it and run off and take it, but because I want to anoint you with it, but just remind me and I would be happy to. And then my ritual, and by the way, you could decorate this and make this really pretty, right? My ritual is 3 times. to turn, to blend, to activate. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It just makes my heart happy to see it. You know, when you design something like this, like you hope that it will manifest this way, but you don't know. So it's really cool to see it all come together. This is my favorite kit and craft I've ever done with you guys, and I will tell you, I think this one has the most capacity to shift consciousness. Truly. Like, put some of this in a spray bottle and mist your sacred space with it, mist all of your tools with it. You know what I mean? Go around, mist yourself with it once a day, right? Woo! Okay. And so, right? So take your time. Like, if you didn't do it with me, it's fine. It's in as it's meant to be, right? Like, you'll do this in exactly the perfect time for you. And it'll be exactly what it needs to be. But I'm really glad that you enjoyed it. Everything in here is natural and pure and rare and really special and brought together for you with a lot of love. And so we want to thank and release the guardians of the 7 sacred gateways for attending us while we make our medicine today, releasing the guardians of the lower world, middle world, upper world, with grace and gratitude. Releasing the guardians of the north, we thank you, we see you. Releasing the guardians of the west, thank you for attending us in this craft, really designed to connect with you in a deeper way, guardians of the west. We thank you, we release you, we see you. Guardians of the south, we thank you, we release you, we see you. And guardians of the east, we thank you, we see you, we release you. Amen, aho, so it is. I hope you enjoyed this ceremony, which marks our sacred entrance to the Western Gateway. And like I said, I mean, if you're like me and you know it's time to get real and move forward and create progress in your life, like, this will help you flow in the right direction. And you'll know exactly when to use it. Sometimes people ask me, well, how do I do that? Or what do I... And it's like, use your intuition. You know what I would tell you to do, though? Can you feel it? Is it vibrating? What I would tell you to do, decant a little bit of this, maybe back into one of the bottles, like take the label off, and decant just a little bit of this, the whole blend, back into one of the bottles, and put it in the glove compartment of your car. And then maybe decant another second vial of it into this, and keep this in your purse. Because if you truly are becoming a medicine person, you will find that there are people on your way who need it. And you'll be out and about and you'll meet somebody and think, oh, I wish I could give them a little bit of that. You know what I mean? And if someone, remember that the Western medicine is mother medicine, which is right hemisphere, left side traditionally of the body. A lot of times I feel like my maternal feminine energy is down the right side of my body, but whichever side aligns to you. So if you encounter someone who needs this, just take a little drop on your finger and touch them at the third eye, or touch them on the left hand or the left wrist, or give them a little drop of it and ask them to place it on their heart, right? It's once I started to do that, because now I always carry crystals, just little small inexpensive ones that I can gift. Yesterday I went to the grocery store because I made my detox soup. I'm starting my ayahuasca dieta, and so I'm walking out of the supermarket and there's a man holding a sign, no job, need to support my family, and I look over, and I know sometimes that people aren't being honest, but I can feel my way into it. And his mother was sitting there. She must have been in her 80s because he was my age, or a little bit older, and he had his teenage daughters were there, and they were the mother didn't seem like she could speak English, and they were asking for money. So I gave them, I think I gave them $5. That's all I had in cash, but I also gave them a crystal. And I said, I'm blessing this crystal for you, that whatever opportunities you need to encounter in your life, that they'll find you easily. And he looked at me in the eye and said, that means more to me than the money, which tells me he really was in need. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like a way of making money. But I'm saying that to you because once you start to carry little things, little gifts that you don't know who they're for, but you know that they're for somebody, you'll Spirit will conjoin you then with the people who need to receive those gifts, and you'll find yourself in more and more situations where your love is needed, and then you'll have something to give that really is magical, that no one else in the world could offer, right? I love that. Nen 4444 said, I only caught the end of class, but my energy has shifted. That's what it's all about, right? That is what it's all about. Cheers to that. My kombucha break. All right, you guys. So, go forth, do good, do well, and do good. Right? I'm glad this was good for your heart today. It's good for my heart too. Always have something to gift a stranger, even if it's just a little tumbled something, or a chipstone, or a little vial of. I mean, you could also transfer your anhydro water and carry this around and gift it to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, there's different ways to do those things, but you never know. My grandma used to say that there are angels that walk amongst us, and they don't look like angels. And so, sometimes, there are. Did I stop? Did I really stop? Can you guys see me okay? Can you give me some feedback? Because it looks like I stopped. I'm still talking, but I don't know if you can hear me. You can hear me though? You can hear me though? Okay, so don't look at the picture because it's really funky. Look at my mouth. Okay, so you can hear me, so I'm going to finish my thought. My grandmother used to say that angels walk amongst us, but they do not look like angels. They will look like the opposite of angels. They will look like little children or elderly people or someone who's mean to you, just as a test. Like, if I'm really mean to you, will you still love me, kind of thing. And don't look at the picture. It's really ugly, but keep listening. Anyway, I believe that angels walk amongst us. And I believe that they don't look like angels, and so I always ask to be in service and to be shown where to go. And when I was first with Dave, he thought it was really weird because I would be like, I have to go give $10 to that person over there, and he would be like, really? And I think I told you guys this story, but about 2 weeks ago, I was on my way to SG, and I was on the actual street, and my spirit guide said, there's a woman, you're going to have to turn left instead of right. There's a woman, and she needs all the money that's in your wallet right now. So just see her up there. And there was this woman, she was pushing a grocery store cart, but it had trash in it, like recycle stuff. I think. I don't know what she was pushing, but it looked like just full of like not stuff that was new. And so I turned left. And she was walking really fast. I don't know if I told you this story or not already, but she was walking really fast. And so I ended up having to chase her, okay? Like, I pulled over and found a place to park, and but she was moving. And so I ended up, like, literally running down the street with her with my wallet. I didn't even look in my wallet to see how much money I had. I don't tend to carry a lot of cash because I lose things. And so anyway, I catch up with her, and I open my wallet, and she turns around and she looks at me like she's terrified. Keep in mind, she doesn't know who the fuck I am. Here's this like red, purple-haired lady chasing her down the street. And then when she looked at me, and then she softened, right? And I said, listen, I just said, God. I'm like, God told me I had to come and give you whatever money is in my wallet. And so she looked at me and she said, really? And I said, yeah. And I opened my wallet, and I had one $20 bill, and I gave it to her. And I said, this is what I have. And so she looked at me, and she started to cry. And she said, this is exactly the amount of money that I don't have right now that I need for something. Like, how could you have known that? And I just said, I really believe in God, and I have to go because I'm late for work. And I'm sorry I chased you. And what do you say, right? She just looked at me and smiled, and then turned around and kept on pushing, man. And so I was late. So I got here late, and everybody was like, you're late. You were supposed to start this meeting 10 minutes ago. And I'm like, I had to chase this lady down the street. And I'm like, seriously, I chased her. And she probably thought I was like the craziest person on the planet. Anyway, if you start listening, the Spirit will lead you right where you need to go. And I could tell you that same exact thing happened 10 different times in Denver. I don't tell these stories because I never want people to think that I'm like trying to claim credit for anything, but Brooklyn and I had to go into Ross. This is the last story I'll share with you. We had to go into Ross to get something in downtown Denver that we needed for the booth. So we went to Ross, and I'm walking toward the entrance of Ross. It's the middle of the day of a weekday, okay? And so there's this young man standing outside of Ross, and I could tell he's going to ask me something, right? So I'm like, oh, he's going to ask for money. And I made eye contact with him, and he looked at me and he said, can you help me get some pants? I need new pants. And so I said, I can. And I said, we only have like half an hour to get something that we need. Can I give you money? Would you be willing to go in and get your own pants? Or do you need me to go in? And I'm looking at him and I'm seeing him as my son, right? Like he's a young kid. He's maybe late teens, early 20s, right? Like I'm thinking, where is your mother? Your mother. So I said, can you go in and get the pants if I give you the money? And he said, I can. I think he wanted me to get the pants, but we didn't have time. And Brooklyn's looking at me like, I know you got to do this, but we also have to get the thing. So I give him $20, and then Brooklyn and I go into Ross, and we go downstairs and we find the thing that we need, and we come back up, and I see him standing in line. So I went back over, and I asked him, I said, can you show me the pants that you found? And he showed me, and I said, can you show me the tag? Because I said, I want to make sure I gave you $20. I want to make sure that with tax and everything that it's going to cover it. And his pants were $10.95. I remember this so clearly looking at the tag. And then I looked up at him and I said, are you okay now? And he said, yes. And so as we were leaving, I was talking to Brooklyn, and I'm like, he had physical problems, handicap situation and physical things. And he had literally soiled himself, which is why he didn't want to go into the store. And I feel bad after that. I should have gone and gotten him the pants. And anyway, long story short, he got his pants. But I literally was standing there going, somewhere, maybe your mother is somewhere and you're her baby. And I sure hope if my son was ever standing outside of Ross and needed pants, that someone would stop and say, did you have enough? I want to make sure with tax that you're going to be able to cover it. So anyway, there's always things like that. But again, if you're listening, like that cost me $11, but it was a moment, a really important moment for me of thinking about so many different things and of creating a blessing in someone's life that, probably allowed him to go back to wherever he needed to go in a good way. So keep listening. I'll keep listening. Do your water work. Work with the water medicine, right? Remember that there are people out there who need you, and keep an open heart. You know what I mean? Don't get cynical and don't get discouraged, because every time you listen and you follow it, even if it's weird, like this young man needs pants, and I don't know why he needs pants, but he does, or this lady, I have to chase her down the street because she needs $20, and it's not always money, right? Like sometimes it's a hug. Sometimes it's just eye contact and giving someone your gaze and your attention. Sometimes it's the kind word at the right moment. You know what I mean? So I love you guys too. Keep an open heart. I know this world is crazy right now and it's confusing sometimes, but don't lose sight of your purpose. You're here for a reason. Yeah, just a smile sometimes. Truly. I was in a store with Zoe yesterday, and I looked at the guy and I was like, your store is really cool and you're cool and I like you. Like, I hope you're successful. And he looked at me and he's like, I'm having a hard time right now, so thank you for saying that out loud. And I was like, yeah, rock on, brother. You're doing a good job, right? Like, sometimes it's just a word that somebody needs to hear, and maybe you're the one to say it. Aho to that, you guys. Have a great rest of your afternoon and evening. I will see you tomorrow. We have live gem sale, the Denver Unpacking Edition, from 4 to 6 p.m. Hope you're looking forward to that. I will see you guys soon. We also have sabbatical integration tomorrow. Aho.